Good to see you again. The team are now ready to start development on some new upgrades. You can review these from within the laptop. I'll speak to you later, okay?
Subtle reminder from Chris there to say, hey dickhead, you got points, so I'll grade your car. I'm like, alright, cheers, thank you. So, German Grand Prix this weekend. Welcome back to F1 2016. It's the German Grand Prix, and as such, Mercedes have brought upgrades to their home race after they won the last time out, and they have now identified themselves once again as the fastest car on the grid, overtaking a Red Bull. So the title battle is heating up there. It's our main concern to just keep on plugging through the R&D objectives, get the upgrades, and we'll eventually overtake Manor and get on the back of that sort of midfield pack from Williams through to Force India. Just sort of scrolling through the upgrades. I'm still deciding on what I need to be doing and where we're going to need the upgrades specifically by. But German Grand Prix, I'm glad it's back on the calendar because it wasn't in F1 2015. I probably said this last season when I was driving for Renault. But I like Hockenheim. I like the old layout, probably for nostalgia, was great, but this one's still pretty damn decent. So I'm not going to worry about any of the nonsense with qualifying. This is our Q3 lap time. We got through to Q3 by some miracle, even though it was dry qualifying, and here we go. Basically, here's some snippets of our Q3 lap. I don't know how we got through to it. Our lap in Q2 must have been pretty damn good, because I think we got like 9th in Q2. We run it wide in turn 2 as we come through to this. It's not really a straight, it's a long curve. I mean, we set a purple first second time there, but only by 16,000th of a second. This is absolutely at the death of the session. We get the drive out of the hairpin. Once again, this car, right, the Haas, feels absolutely fantastic on low fuel. I suppose sort of like these cars are in their prime when they are just running at the lowest fuel conditions, I suppose. But it's just such a contrast to when it's got heavy fuel. I can't explain it, but especially in this final sector. I mean, even though I made mistakes in this lap, it felt so hooked up. But I mean, obviously we've come 10th just due to the fact of the speed of the car, really, is the only thing I can blame that on. But so it's a Mercedes front row lockout, and the top 4 cars covered by just over 1/10 of a second. Then you've got to look to like over 4/10 back to the Ferraris, who are then sort of 4/10 faster than the Renault. And again, Jolyon Palmer mixing it up, you know, I'm surprised. It's just a shame that real life Jolyon Palmer is not as good as F1 2016 career Jolyon Palmer. But that was qualifying. We start 10th. It's the German Grand Prix. It's a good circuit. I feel as if it's been good for me. Our result last time out wasn't great due to a collision we had with Ricciardo, but we'll see what happens in this one. I'm quietly confident, I think. But it's now time, from 10th on the grid, to see what we can do in the German Grand Prix. Okay, so the German Grand Prix, it's going to start in light rain, intermediate conditions, but then it's going to transition to some cloud cover and it'll be sunny by the end of the race. So I'd predict that these light rain conditions will probably only last like the first 6 laps, maybe. And then like after it rains at the start, you've then got the wonderful choice of like what do you do with your dry tyres. And I love races like this where you get properly nitty gritty with your tyre compounds and your strategy. So I'm really looking forward to this one as we now start off. Very slow getaway on the formation lap there. Turn 1's always an interesting one because turn 1's a very fast right-hander here. It's not like a heavy braking zone in Germany whatsoever as we now look towards it here. We've got the 2 Williams in front of us that are looking to make a resurgence. And then we've got Palmer ahead and Magnussen behind of our old team. It's all going to be about going into the hairpin, this one. That's the big one. It's who is going to be feeling dicey going into the hairpin at the... I suppose you could call it the back straight. It's not really factually correct, but whatever. We're on the right-hand side, which looks as if it's going to have more rain on it due to the fact of the cars lining up on the left, that which is rubbered in. So we'll see how the start goes for us here. This could be an interesting one going into turn 1. Calm before the storm. Well, I suppose the storm's over almost, really, as we now build with 3, 4, 5 lights. And the German Grand Prix is underway. The long hold on the lights really put me off there. I didn't react as fast as I could have done. Magnussen's got us on the right-hand side. Palmer's been swamped by the Williams. Look at them go 3 wide. Massa goes, squeezes himself out wide. Palmer and Bottas battling away on the outside of turn 1. We've managed to pick them off and we're up into our new favourite position in the world of 7th. And it looks as if it's 2 by 2 as Hamilton has driven off into the distance after 2 corners. Then you've got Rosberg, both Red Bulls, then Vettel, then Raikkonen up in 6th. And we have got ahead of the Williams and Jolyon Palmer. We've done that thing again where the top 3 cars are now up ahead of us now. And we are now back in 7th place. Nothing doing in someone. Ricardo's going down the inside of Rosberg. And we've gone very deep. We make contact with Bottas. We definitely misjudged our braking point there, going into the hairpin for the very first time. But at the end of lap 1, interestingly enough, we've actually managed to stick onto the back of these guys here. I think Ricardo's got ahead of Rosberg, and that's actually allowing Hamilton to get away. We've had a bad run through turn 1. What can we do through turn 2 is we brake carefully to get it in nice and tight and get a good exit. I think we might be in for a good run here. So we're a long way back from Raikkonen. It's a long straight. He's going to be in the slipstream of Vettel. We're in the slipstream of him, and you know what? We're gaining on him into the spray of the Ferrari car. We're going to move out to the slightly wetter part of the circuit, bring it in nice and slow. We can't go in too deep, otherwise we'll just cream into the side of Sebastian Vettel. Rosberg gets his position back. We're up into 6th. Vettel gets a bad drive behind Verstappen. Could we have a look into the inside? No, think better of it there. Otherwise, more than likely going to be an incident or losing a piece of our front wing and hampering our race too much when we've already been lucky enough to get up into 6th position here and split the Ferraris. And you know what, on lap 3 I'm fancying the other one of Sebastian Vettel here. We go out wide. We're in lean mix for this point as we've underfueled the car once again. I'm hoping this weekend to have more success with it as we go up into Rich for the back straight. You can already see a partially drying line up here. The rain, it definitely isn't as heavy as it could be as we now swoop up behind Vettel. Is Vettel going to have a look into Verstappen? We're going to be very cautious here. Verstappen is slowing Vettel down. We force him to not be able to turn into the corner by basically going into where he was probably going to turn the car in. We forced him out and we're up into 5th position now, and it's now the end of lap 5, and you can see the comments I'd made about the rain. It's definitely eased off, but there's still the odd little droplet. So we're going to ask Jeff for a weather report. He loves to give us information.
The distance to the leader is 7.6 seconds.
It's not what I asked, Jeff. There we go, that's what I was after. So Jeff with a nice delay response, but he says it's going to remain dry. So the droplets are in the air for wet weather, and we're still getting some spray off of the tyres. You can see here that our run against the top runners has eased off a bit. Verstappen's pulled out a bit of a lead, and now Vettel and Raikkonen sit right behind us. So we go wide on the giant curve here. As we've got the Ferraris, this is Raikkonen making a move on Sebastian Vettel here from the overshot cam. He's not going to try and dive into us. He leaves Vettel out to dry on the drying circuit, as it were, and he's got ahead of Sebastian. So technically the Ferrari number 2 driver gets past the number 1, but they're both sitting behind the Ferrari B team of Haas, and they might be asking, get out of the way, but I'm out here to prove myself to the team. Now we confirm our strategy call at the end of lap 6. This is the lap where we need to pit. It looks as if everyone's diving in, every front car getting the call, so that means you're going to be seeing Hamilton come in, Ricciardo come in, we're in, Vettel is in. No, sorry, Vettel goes round. Raikkonen was the lead car. My apologies. So Raikkonen's in now. And we'll see what tyres they fit. Me, myself, I'm going for the soft tyre to get some good running. You know, not quite the super soft, because I feel as if that wouldn't last long enough in the freshly rubbered-in track. So we go for the soft tyre. Looks like Ricciardo's gone for the mediums, and Raikkonen has also gone for the medium tyre. So we're 1 degree softer on the tyres and the car ahead and the car behind us here. And now lap 7, we've got Alonso, who's still out on the intermediates. It leads me to believe he was not the lead McLaren. And Ricciardo is stuck behind Sergio Perez, who must still be on the intermediates. And we're going to drive right around the outside of him. I don't know what Ricciardo was thinking by sticking behind Perez. Was he so concerned with his championship that he didn't want to try and make a move? I mean, there's nothing Perez could have done on the Inters. And look, he's just crawling, stuck around. We just drive right around the outside. And Ricciardo, probably now fuming underneath that crash helmet, has thought, well, fuck this, I need to get after this guy. So now, lap 8, we're up into 4th. We did set the fastest lap very temporarily, but then Ricciardo beats out on the medium tyre behind. Verstappen came out ahead of us now on the medium tyre as well, but we've closed up on him due to the fact we were on the dry tyres a lap sooner. And you know what? I reckon with his Tag Heuer branded Renault, I could have him into this hairpin. So, DRS wide open. Rich mixture. Are we going to be? We're gaining on him. We're gaining on Verstappen. Can we look to make a big diving move for 3rd place in the German Grand Prix? Yes, we can. Get it nicely slowed down for the apex there. And we are through. Up into 3rd. Verstappen right behind us, though. Is he going to have a look into the right-hand kink? No, he's not. We're going to look to defend ourselves into the left-hander. Verstappen nice and late on the brakes, as you'd expect. But we cover him off by a nice tight turn in there. Rosberg not getting away from us too much now, but I don't think we're going to be in a position to challenge him, unfortunately. I think this is going to be an almighty battle between myself and the Red Bulls now, because you've got the pair of them there, both with DRS. Verstappen literally pushing me along this back straight now as we've cut to the cam. It's going to be 3 wide into the hairpin. Verstappen in the middle, Ricciardo on the outside, us on the inside. We get the nice tight line. Ricciardo gets the wide exit and the better traction, and he passes Verstappen up into 4th place. It's the end of lap 12, and we are still a cork in the bottle of the Red Bulls. You know what we're doing here? I don't know if anyone's caught onto this so far, but we're backing the Red Bulls into the Ferraris to try and actually help out our team. I figured there's 2 ways I can go about impressing Ferrari here, because if you hadn't gathered by now, that's who I'm aiming for a seat with. Impress them. We either do the thing of let them through the Ferraris, which shows that you can be melded right as Verstappen goes back past us. Ricciardo's having another look. This is going to be another big dive into the hairpin. Are we going to get it slowed down? Just about squeeze them out. And it's 3 wide. Raikkonen on the exit has got both Red Bull cars. Let's have a look at this from Raikkonen's perspective here. This is exactly what I wanted to do, and help the Ferraris get past the Red Bulls to help them in the championship. Look at them, the Red Bulls run into each other nearly, and Raikkonen on the tighter exit gets a lovely undercut line. And here we're going to see it one more time from a head-on perspective. What a big dive this was from myself. Verstappen saw us coming, and that meant that he wasn't going to turn in, and as such he forced Ricciardo out. They were too busy scrapping with each other, and Raikkonen goes through into 4th place. And now, do we make the logical call to help Ferrari out here? And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let Raikkonen pass. There's no benefit in holding Raikkonen up. I did let him through, and then I thought, actually, do I? I had a little think about sending one down the inside to show, I want to drive for you, but I'm not just going to wave you boys through all the time. So anyway, Raikkonen through and up into 3rd place for the podium position. He can now drive off down into the distance as I battle it out with the Red Bulls for the championship. And just thinking, Hamilton's currently in 1st. So if things finished as they are, with a Mercedes 1-2 and a Red Bull 5-6, Mercedes would probably take the lead in the Constructors' Championship. Here they come, Verstappen and Ricciardo side by side into the slipstream of Verstappen, into the hairpin one more time, nice and late. This time went for the strategy of go alongside Verstappen, force him out, and again they're forcing each other onto the runoff there. And I mean, we saw it used heavily. It was the 2003 German Grand Prix, and you saw it get used to get good traction. Now Vettel's going to try and join in the party. It's going to be 3 wide. Verstappen's pulled ahead. We're on the outside this time. Vettel diving down the inside against the Red Bulls. Jeff is in my ear asking about a strategy change. I don't care about that. Verstappen's done us. But we hold it round the outside. Vettel has got a bad drive. Ricciardo is now through on us. As we go through the right-hand kink, can we make a move down the inside of the left-hander? Ricciardo. Oh, we've made contact. We've just about held the slide. I don't think we've got any damage to our front wing. Nothing that I can see visibly, at least. Car feels fine. We can now confirm to Jeff about what strategy we want to go on. But the Red Bulls have got past me, so I can only hold them at bay for so long. And I think we're going to have to consider diving into the pits sooner rather than later. So we're going to set the medium tyres. I'm going to totally avoid the super soft in this Grand Prix. And I think we're going to set and go to the end on a set of mediums. We make a very late call to come in this lap, as we just about got the car in due to the understeer there. And that's going to free Sebastian Vettel up to try and chase after the Red Bulls if he can. But we were losing grip on our tyres there at the end. Though I find the front left due to the first corner, and like a lot of the fast corners around here are right-handers, so your front left is going to be wearing ridiculously. We come out just behind Sergio Perez in 12th place, and we're now going to need to take a set of medium tyres 15 laps to the end of the German Grand Prix. So we're going to need to be a little bit careful with our tyres here. The sun is now shining. Good few laps later now. Cars ahead of us have pit. Sebastian Vettel is now ahead of us on the soft compound tyre in 6th. We're down to 7th, which I'm going to be honest, you would have probably looked to have expected due to the fact of the speed that the other cars had on us. We're now battling Jenson Button, who was giving us trouble in Hungary. And then we've got Kevin Magnussen of our old team just behind us. So Button tries to make a move around the outside. And again, it's the most popular place to overtake in Germany. Button, though, taps my left rear tyre on exit. Nearly sent me into a spin, which I wouldn't have liked. And we're now burning fuel here towards the end of the race just to try and stay ahead of these guys. Because again, it's points. If we can prove that we can drag an underperforming car up, then we have to be looked at by the top team, specifically Ferrari. Button does it again. And now Bottas looking to get involved. It's going to be 3 wide coming down to the right-hand king. Who's going to prevail on this one? Bottas pushes everyone out there, but I think Button might still have it coming down into this corner. 3 wide, look at him. Magnussen's now ahead. Magnussen's pulled out. I think Button got hung out to dry on the outside. So behind us, everything's going off now. Vettel's now fit the super soft tyre and come out. That's how far ahead of us he got, which goes to show that while trying to take care of these mediums to get to the end, we just are not quick while we're scrapping with other cars as well. So Vettel now ahead. He's probably going to be stuck in 6th place because he's now got a big old gap ahead of him. Our front left isn't looking too great. We've now got cars coming up behind us here of Magnussen and Bottas. Look at the speed they've got in a straight line. That Mercedes-powered Williams is ridiculous. We make a very bold, lunging move. Oh, we haven't got it slowed down like we did all the other times. Bottas on our outside, but he hasn't got a good drive. Can we look to get him in the fast right-hander? The speed, no. Eventually, the low-drag Williams caught up to the speed, and he's now ahead of us. Can we make a dive down the inside of this left-hander? Bottas has it scouted. We're caught on his rear tyre. We've both gone wide. Magnussen pulls ahead of us now in the Renault in 7th. We drop down to 8th. Palmer is now 9th. He's come out of absolutely nowhere, and that's Bottas down to 10th, I believe. So now we're in a big old scrap at the bottom of the points-paying positions, but our car in the final sector, once again proving its worth. We're still behind Magnussen as we start the 30th lap of the race. Through turn 1, we've got DRS in this short section here. We're probably not going to get him into turn 2, but we will position ourselves for a run into the hairpin, which we messed up horribly last lap. It's been a point of our dive bombs and our perfect defensive driving in this Grand Prix, and we let ourselves down last lap. I think we're going to need to look in our mirrors more than looking up the road, because here comes Jolyon Palmer down the inside. And we've gone far too late on the brakes into the hairpin. What the hell has happened there? Magnussen's through, Palmer's through, Bottas is through. We're down to 10th. I need to see a replay. The hell happened there? We've braked far too late as we tried to defend from Palmer and go past Magnussen. We're just ahead of the McLaren, which I did not see when I came back on the circuit. But now we're down only in 10th position. Bottas has now split the Renaults, but again through the final sector our car's just so well hooked up. This battle is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Our tyres are wearing. There's 3 laps left of the race. Bottas and Magnussen going out. We go round the outside of Palmer and Magnussen with the DRS wide open, and we sit in the slipstream of Valtteri Bottas. The Renault's trying to get greedy in that battle with Bottas. This is the midfield battle here. Technically the Williams is slower than the Renault in the vehicle comparison chart. We get a bad run out of turn 3, so Bottas is now ahead, but we're now back up into 8th, so we've recovered points, which is essential here, but we're not going to get Bottas. He's probably going to drive off down the road now. What we need to be concerned with is we're in minus fuel, so we need to try and recover that as we look to do some lifting and coasting into the hairpin after 2 big mistakes into it. We need to be more careful on that braking zone because that's where we're going to get overtaken, if anywhere. But Palmer wants to have a go everywhere. He's trying to take us through the right-hander into the stadium section, into, I believe this is called the Dunlop curve. It's got such a degree of camber. We're getting very scrappy in these late race scraps here. We sent one lunging down the inside of Palmer there. He's managed to hold the place because Magnussen was far enough behind. We've gone out wide. And we're going to go on to the final lap of the Grand Prix here. In 8th position. Bottas is so far ahead of us already. 4 seconds down the road. But the Renaults didn't get a run on us on that lap. And after a long, hard-fought race, we're going to come through. It's 8th position. And do you know what? It's points, so I'm happy. So Hamilton wins, Rosberg second, Ricciardo third, Verstappen fourth, Raikkonen in the end getting past Vettel. And we beat both Renault drivers. But we were a minute off the pace. Raikkonen therefore jumps us in the Drivers' Championship. And Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Bear in mind, Daniel Ricciardo, after 5 races, had 125 points. After the next 7 races, he has got just 40-ish. I don't know. Williams maintain ahead of Renault this time around, so that battle for 4th in the Constructors is going to be heating up nicely. But what a race here in Germany. I love changeable conditions when it starts in the wet and goes to dry, and then vice versa. It's just, oh... We lost the rivalry to Vettel, but what do you expect? You know, he's driving a goddamn Ferrari. What a race. And now we've got 1,600 resource points, so we can look to make some upgrades. So we'll get some engine power. That'll be nice. And I think we're probably going to go... This is a difficult choice for me, because next time out, it is Belgium. So we go for the downforce. I thought it was a more difficult choice than it actually was. But no, we go for the downforce in that second sector of Belgium. Going to be a difficult one next time out there. Looking forward to Belgium, but we've come off the back of another really good race for ourselves here in the team in Germany. We're proving that we are a very good defensive driver, and hopefully some of my antics today, you know, get picked up by the higher teams. They've got to appreciate the little things that I did for them. You know, it was subtle, but, you know, maybe they'll pick it up. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's been another good one. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment any feedback down below, and subscribe to enable them notifications to be the first notified about the content coming to the channel. I will see you all next time.